Hi, my name is Aejay. For my music, I go by Aejay Thomas, and this is what I learned from 2023. Now, I tried making a video like this for 2022 about a year ago, but by the time I finished uploading it, my beliefs have changed and my values have changed that it didn't really make sense for me to upload it anymore. And yeah, I guess that just happens when you're young. At 24, I am learning about a lot from the world and just basically going through life and trying to improve myself as much as I can. And I guess that's just how it goes, you know. And I might make a video like this a year from now, and the beliefs and values that I have might change at that point again, because I'm still discovering the world and what it offers, my role in it, and my ambition towards it, and the things that I'm trying to achieve. So with that in mind, I'll just go right in. So the first is how to stop being a people pleaser. Now, the thing that has helped me the most of dealing with this was reading a book called 48 Laws of Power. It's a pretty popular book. I know it's a little dark and kind of shows you the darkest path that people can take in terms of achieving success and finding power in the world. But I thought it was interesting, and I'm not even done with it yet, but the chapter Say Less Than Necessary has basically helped me cure my people pleaseness. I'm still in my head a lot, and it's still very hard for me to say no to people, even if it doesn't really serve me, or sometimes it might be detrimental to me. But I have seen a significant kind of progress last year, which I'm fairly proud of. It's made me respect myself more, it's made me more confident, and that is kind of the goal when it comes to getting rid of being a people pleaser. But second one is much more relevant to the men here watching, but I've learned that if you're not capable of violence, you won't truly be peaceful. Now, growing up, I was bullied. I was basically just taking what my peers would tell me, being thrown words and being hurt and whatever. Actually, the world's smallest violin. Growing up like that has made me really scared of, unnecessary things. Just walking and around people just made me just queasy and just very squeamish. Is that a word? Squeamish. I guess. But it's not a fun thing. It's not a fun place to be in. And I guess, I realized that the reason that I'm not really peaceful in my mind is because I'm not really capable of defending myself. So when I say be capable of violence, I'm not saying be violent, be aggressive actively. I'm saying that you just need to know that you're capable of it if needed. Because let's face it, it can be a very dark world, and you never really know the people that you're gonna come across. So I took up boxing, and each and every session that I come out of, and I basically survive, because boxing really pushes you to the limits physically. Basically I walk much more confidently, I'm more assertive in certain situations, which is the spot that I wanted to be. And there's more work to be done there, but it's a good start. Next is sticking to your values and beliefs. Now, growing up being a people pleaser, basically I would say everything that I would think that a person would want to hear, So if we're having a conversation about different ideas, different schools of thoughts, if I sense some sort of conflict about my school of thought or what I believe in and what you believe in, I would adapt quickly to basically what you think is right, because I was holding to those values and beliefs very loosely, because like I said, I was very susceptible to that. There was one relationship that I think has really taught me how to do that. The importance of really sticking to your beliefs, your non-negotiables, what you would allow into your life and what you wouldn't at any circumstance, and how important that is for people to be able to respect you and to be I would say a full human being. Because if you don't have your own values and beliefs, who are you? You have to kind of build your identity from that. You earn people's respect through that, and you don't have to be politically correct all the time, but you have to have a rational reason for having those beliefs. It doesn't need to make sense to others. Those are yours, and you need to stand your ground to hold them. So yeah, again, it was hard for me to do that, and it's still hard for me to do that, but I think I got to know who I am more this year rather than the other years, because I looked outward more this year. I feel like the previous years I was just in my room just watching YouTube videos of all these schools of thoughts and just basically all theory. 2023 was really the year that I think I allowed myself to live again. When I allowed myself to live again, I got to see how other people live, what their thoughts were, their values, their own beliefs, and I got to really know myself through that. Kind of gotten the chance to kind of compare and contrast how it is they're thinking and how I'm thinking and our reasoning from it, the difference of how you were raised and all that. So yeah, sticking to your values and beliefs. Researching a lot, still have a lot of researching to do, but basically researching schools of thoughts, beliefs, values, religion, politics, and all that, where you don't have to do this, by the way, but if you want to stick to your values and beliefs, it helps to kind of defend your ground and like know why you're there, what you're fighting for, and all that. So just to keep in mind. The next one is, if you hate yourself, you will hate other people, especially if you see yourself in them. So yeah, growing up, I definitely noticed this about myself. There are certain types of people with certain types of behavior that I would see myself in. Maybe me from elementary, maybe me from high school, college, or whatever. A version of me that I don't want to go back to anymore. Yeah, I would see those people and I would feel repulsed by them. I would feel annoyed by every word that they choose to say. I would feel annoyed by every decision that they would make or like how they would communicate, because yeah, I didn't really accept myself before. Once I slowly accepted myself, got rid of all the insecurity, not really all, I'm still working on that, but once I got rid of most of the insecurity that I held for the longest time, I started to accept these people, and actually it's much more fun because you know how they think and where they are, and if they want help you can offer your hand. And yeah, I guess another layer of that is realizing really that we are all in different levels of our lives. In reality, it's all arbitrary. No one's really behind in life. No one's really ahead in life. We are all just in our own lanes. And once you realize that you're not really behind, you're not really ahead, that's when you go into the offensive. And that's when you attack what you can attack. That's when you focus on the things that you can control. Yeah, you progress much more faster. Okay, the fifth one, I'm not sure if I still believe in this, honestly, but I guess there's elements to it that I believe and I don't believe in, but I'll say it anyways. So the next one is, life is not about productivity. Like I said in a previous point, 2023 is really the year that I allowed myself to live again. Allowed myself to hang out with friends more. I allowed myself to a little bit like go with the flow. Now, this does not mean that you forgo the goals that you have. If you read Atomic Habits, you will know that it does not take you selling your soul to go for the goals that you want. By selling your soul, I mean like never going out, heaven forbid you go out for coffee for like an hour with your friends for once a week. Which I thought like I had a very negative connotation in 2022. I get that life is about living, and also I get that there are goals that are worth sacrificing the now. And I guess it's just a matter of what you want in your life. It's all really preference. And I hate these YouTubers who like force you to think the way they do. Because if you're young, it's very easy to tap into your kind of passion and ambition because, well, yeah, we young people are ambitious. So it's easy to get lost in this, basically, like I said, selling your soul to get your goal and like just be better than 99% of people, even if you don't really know what that means and what that takes. So yeah, I think 2023 really is the year where I kind of solidified this is the level of balance that I want in my life, of productivity and still taking care of the relationships that I value, my family, my friends. 2024 though, might change. I'll be honest though, 2023, most of it, I didn't really feel like myself. I was doing habits that I really don't associate myself in anymore. Yeah, recently I have been more in tune. I feel like myself again. But I guess that was necessary. I think that was a necessary process. Being in the spectrum of full productivity and trying to live again, I think I know now how to balance better productivity and spending time and just living life. And it comes in seasons. There are seasons in your life, there are seasons in your year that you're full on just productivity, and there are seasons in your life like summer and the holidays, for example, where you're more about spending time with family, staying mindful in the present moment, and giving them your full attention while you're all gathered around in one place. It's all gray. It's all very gray. In my opinion, it's very dangerous to think of these things in a black and white scenario. I might elaborate on this at some point, but for now, that's that. Next is it all constantly changes, and that's okay. Right now, I'm fairly mindful about the relationships that I have and how things are going, and I constantly remind myself that it all changes. At some point, this life and these situations and these relationships that you value will change. Some will change. Not everyone will stay in your life. It's not always that you can stay in their life even if you want to. Someday you'll move on to better things, and that's okay because that's just part of life. But also, I remember this quote from How I Met Your Mother that really stuck with me growing up, and it's,
"You will be shocked, kids, when you discover how easy it is in life to part ways with people forever. That's why, when you find someone you want to keep around, you do something about it."
It doesn't matter how busy you get. It doesn't matter the situation you're in. You will find a way to be like, "Hi, how you doing?" Which the people that is close to me know that when time goes by that we haven't talked to, I'll just pop in their fucking messages and be like, "How you been? What are you up to right now?" Doesn't need to be too long, right? But you keep that connection going, and maybe at some point you go out for coffee again together and you talk more about things and you reconnect that bond. It's all just about keeping those branches together, I feel like. But yeah, one of the most beautiful aspects of life is that it changes. It constantly changes, and that's okay, and you should be ready for that. Next is battling your demons and facing loneliness. Yeah, this is hard. This one's hard. We all have different demons. How you grow up, how you were treated when you're younger, in your formative years. In your teenage years, in your 20s, those are the years that you usually learn about coping mechanisms that would basically numb your brain to protect you from those demons and protect you from loneliness and feeling alone. And it's a dark thing to face. That's like the hardest thing to do. But yeah, if you're trying to be the best version of yourself, it requires you to battle those demons, face those demons on the daily, face loneliness, because it is a lonely path to be in. And I guess what helped me kind of face those loneliness is trusting the process that at some point I will be healed and I will be much more stronger than I am now. It's a long process though. It takes a long time, but it's better to face them now than keep them and hold on to them for the rest of your life. And it bleeds into your relationships. It bleeds into your future family. God forbid. And the worst idea of it is it bleeds into your parenting style. Reflect that upon your kids, and that's really the worst that could happen, in my opinion. It's not easy. It's not at all easy. It's easy to say things, but some people take a year, some people take 5 years, some people take 10, 15, but I think it's a battle worth taking. I'll leave it at that. Next is reading meditating, journaling, and exercise. This basically is what Hamza would call the pillars of self-improvement. Yeah, I think I've been doing them fairly enough. Matter of fact, I just came in back to my room from a journaling and reading session that took about like 2 hours. I don't do that every day, but I usually just take 20-30 minutes for reading, journaling, and meditating, just because I think there are habits that you for sure want to keep in your life, but they shouldn't take too much time because you want to move on to much more tangible tasks. But they are essential. I would say they are essential. Reading gives you a shortcut. It's standing in the shoulders of giants, basically. You have all these people that has spread their knowledge onto 300, 500 pages of a book of all experiences, mistakes, what they've learned, and they're all there in different areas of life, from living, from relationships, from ambition, whatever you're trying to achieve. They are all there for the taking. And dare I say, it would really be silly for you to not take advantage of that. Going out and experiencing stuff on your own, going through the trials and tribulations and learning from your mistakes, of course, that is necessary. That is necessary for growth, that is necessary for your development. And of course, do that. And I'm trying to do that better. But it's so silly to me. That's the kindest word that I can choose. It's so silly to me to not take advantage of these books that are just plain, just right there, dude. It's right there. Like, why won't you just use the experience? Like, some of these books took 4-5 years for a person to make of research and experience and testing. That's 3, 5, 10 years that you would be able to save and just take the results and just apply straight into your life. Why won't you take advantage of that? So that's reading. Meditating, I think, is very essential for me. Yeah, also I think a lot of people. The best analogy that I've heard is, again, from Hamza, which is like meditating is like, it's like strength training for the brain. We have millions of thoughts a day, and if you ask me, dude, I probably have like 1 billion, and it's very easy for me to get distracted. And you're watching this video edited, but there are a lot of things that I cut out because I just went off on a different tangent on the middle of a topic. So yeah, meditating helps me stay in the present. Meditating helps me focus on the task. It helps me not burn out, because I have the tendency that when I'm working, I think about different stuff that I could be working as well. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe that's harder to digest, but let's say I'm in this task, I'm thinking about doing this other tasks, which is like overloading your brain. And when I'm resting, I usually think of the tasks that I need to be doing as well, which of course will lead to burnout as soon as possible. So yeah, meditating has helped me basically put things into sections throughout the day. Like right now I'm working, I'm just gonna think about work. Right now I'm resting, I'm with my family, I'm with my friends, I'm out. I'm just gonna stay here and just enjoy this moment, and everything that needs to be done will be done later or tomorrow. And meditating has helped me kind of discipline my thoughts to kind of organize them. That's what meditating has done for me. Journaling is basically, it's like having a friend to talk about your thoughts and problems, or like ideas that you have. But you can talk to them with any topic, anything you want. Trauma dump all you want with this friend, and they're okay with it. That's what journaling feels like. Sometimes we have dark thoughts that we know that none of our friends and none of our family will understand, but we just need to get them out. You put it on a piece of paper, and yeah, that piece of paper won't really judge you. Yeah, and Frank would say, paper is more patient than people. It's not at all gonna be substitute to like therapy or anything like that, but it's quick, it's easy, it's free. Yeah, I try to journal every day. Sometimes I won't even think that I have things to journal about, but then I start writing and just end up writing like 5 pages of a thought. It's very useful, especially if you want to clear your mind again. Like these things for me is about just staying on the present. These two things, meditating and journaling, it helps me stay on the present. It helps me not burn out. It helps me rest my brain. It helps me get more productive if I need to. There you go. Exercise. Exercise for me is like a reset. Also, it's one of the best therapy that you can get. I don't want to get into that like depression is not real or depression is real type stuff, but I'm just gonna speak from experience that every single time that I feel that I was lonely, yeah, I usually just go for a walk or go to the gym, and I'd be like, let's say 20% happier each time. You start to gain momentum and you build up to do that every day, and you can imagine it's gonna be a little better. I think it's just doing something. Just feels good to feel progress when you're lifting, when you're doing cardio. And of course, if you're feeling serious stuff, you need professional help, and definitely go do that. But I guess just try it. Like it's free. Like there are a lot of YouTube videos of just follow alongs that you can try. Next is your piece is everything. I've learned to cut out stuff that I don't need or serve me in my life anymore. It's mostly just negative energy, and like, yeah, it's also having standards for like the people that you keep around you. Like if you're just gonna bother me and if you're just gonna use me to build yourself up, no thanks. I have a lot of things to do. You're not worthy of my attention. I'm trying to protect the limited amount of energy that I can do in a day, and you're just not gonna get a piece of it. So next is comparison is the thief of joy, which is really real. You've probably heard this from everybody else. It doesn't matter how much you've achieved. If you constantly find someone to compare to, you will find someone. You will find someone. What I've realized this year is we're all in different lanes. No one is ahead, no one is behind. I've learned to just be like, this is me, this is where I am, this is where I could go. I'd rather focus on what I could go than like where you are. I don't really care. I love competition though. I do love competition. Whether I believe art is a competition is fairly debatable. I think I'm still figuring it out, but mostly I don't think it is. It's a hard one. It's a hard metric. I think Drake's speech like kind of perfectly encapsulates it.
If you have people who are singing your songs word for word, if you're a hero in your hometown, if there's people who have regular jobs who are coming out in the rain, in the snow, spending their hard-earned money to buy tickets to come to your shows, you don't need this right here. I promise you, you already won.
About like art is like the hardest sport of metric, and it doesn't really, you don't need that type of achievement. So the next is real confidence comes from competence. Basically last year is when I realized that my confidence comes from knowing that I do everything I can to get to where I want to be, and also loving the cards that I've been dealt with. You know, there are things in my life that I don't and I can't really change, you know, your genetics and all that, but I usually just focus on what I can control, where I could better myself, and striving for the best version of myself that I can get to, and what I can offer to the world, you know, the talents that God has given me, and how I could help people with that. The next is the power of your thoughts and words. This is also one that's a little hard to control, because there are a lot of thoughts and words that you put in your head that you don't really think they're gonna affect you. You don't really think that they're important, but you don't really realize that. The subconscious is a very tricky and very strong thing. If you're interested about this, well, I don't know, you can go take a course in psychology, but what I did was just read Psycho-Cybernetics, which is a good book on this topic. And yeah, basically, you don't know that the power of your thoughts and words really bleed into your reality, and the power of identity, how you see yourself. If you see yourself as a certain person, you will act that way. You will find ways to confirm that you are that kind of person. You won't even know that you're doing it. And in return, of course, people will respond to that. They'll be like, oh, he or she is this kind of person. And it would further confirm in your head that you're like, oh yeah, I am that kind of person. So if you're trying to better yourself, you need to work on your thoughts, the contents that you watch, and the ideas of yourself that you subscribe to. 1% better every day. Again, Atomic Habits. That book has helped me day by day. I would not have released my single last year if it wasn't for that book. That song might still be in the vault, might still be in my PC just collecting dust instead of being on Spotify and being released. So give it a try. Never disrespect momentum. I've done this a lot in my life where I get things going, I do everything that I said I would do, and then I just go right back into destroying that momentum, basically. One of the hardest things to do is gaining momentum. If you've lived long enough, you know that inertia is like the biggest enemy. But once you get it going, once you get doing to the task that you want to do, it just gets easier, and that also applies to the long term. Honestly, momentum is like the biggest productivity hack ever, and all of us are capable of building it. And the last one is probably the one that I've subscribed to the most for 2023, and I plan to keep in my life for this year, is nurture your relationships. Like I said, there are people in your life that maybe you take for granted, or these are relationships that maybe you do realize or you don't realize that is hard to get. You can't just decide to have like a 8-year relationship with a person. Sometimes it just happens in the most unexpected way. What I'm just saying is that take care of your relationships. You know, no matter your ambition, no matter what you're trying to do in your life, your circle doesn't need to be big, but it needs to be solid. Yeah. If you have people in your life that you consider priceless, your family, your friends that mean to you and has made you the person that you become, yeah, just take care of them. I think I've come to realize that as ambitious and materialistic as I can be sometimes, I don't really need much. When it really boils down to need, I don't need much. But I need the relationships that I have in my life, the friends and the family, and sometimes it can mean a significant other. For most of you, it probably mean a significant other. I just can't relate right now. Yeah, one of the reasons why I'm yearning for autonomy so much in my life is because I want to spend as much time nurturing these relationships in my life. Maybe I can't do that much now because I don't really have that much capability right now, but at some point I will. But yeah, those are the things that I learned last year. If you made it this far, thank you. This is my self-improvement channel. I am first and foremost a musician. I will always focus on my music, but I love self-improvement. I read about this stuff every day. It's always in my mind. I have different hobbies and passion as well. Like I'm into watches, I'm into fashion, I'm into sports, the gym, which is still self-improvement, but yeah, this is a place for that, and I will be posting more here this year. So yeah, if you're interested in that, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Peace.